Hello and welcome. I've got a bonus for you guys today. So today is all about our beginner flow. So I might be talking a little bit extra in this one, but it's going to help as we progress in our videos so that you know exactly what you need to be doing, what you should be feeling, and how you can be getting the most out of each and every posture. Sound good? All right, let's come to the top of our mat. Good. So here you have a few options. If it feels okay, you can have the big toes touching and the heels slightly apart in this position. Let me move my blocks. Make sure you have your blocks handy. You have a pillow here just in case. If you have shoulder injuries, hip injuries, and having your toes touch and big toes touch and the heels slightly apart doesn't feel good for you, then you can have the feet underneath the hips. Good. Finding where it feels good for you, and we're going to work all the way from the feet up to the crown of the head. Making sure that your big toe, your pinky toe, and the heel of your foot are all evenly pressing down into the earth, right? Feeling the balance spread throughout this triangle in your foot is going to really help you get the most of that surface area so that you'll find balancing positions so much easier and all of that good stuff. Moving up, we're going to just come into the quads here. So sometimes it's nice to add a little bit of engagement in the quads. And that just pulls the kneecap up ever so slightly. So we're lengthening the hamstrings, engaging the quad a little bit, and then just really being protective of the knees here. From here, we're going to just tuck that tailbone in slightly. You'll feel the core engage here, making sure everything is really grounded down, right? The tailbone is rolling under, the core is nice and tight. Let's come all the way up, torso is engaged, and then the shoulders are just going to open up ever so slightly, rolling back just a little bit, letting the palms reach open towards the front of the mat. Good. Here your chin is nice and parallel to the earth, and the crown of the head reaches high to the sky. Let's take a few breaths here as you just feel really strong in your mountain pose, feeling activated, and as if I were to come over and kind of push you, you wouldn't fall, right? You would be solid, strong like a mountain. And let's just take full belly breaths here, really setting our intention for this practice. Allowing your mind to be here now, be with your body, notice the sensations going on. Allowing the mind, maybe the gaze, even though the eyes are closed here, the gaze is at the top of the nose. And just allowing yourself to focus on the inhale. Maybe you're saying, I am inhaling. And on the exhale, I am exhaling. Just building that awareness, building our present moment. Just building the awareness of being in the present moment. Let's go 3 more rounds. Good. From here, we're going to inhale. You'll lift the arms up over the head. And to evenly distribute the weight as we fold, we'll exhale and open the arms out wide to the side as you begin to hinge forward, folding from the hips on the exhale. Keeping the legs as straight as you can. Either you bring the hands to your blocks or you bring them to your shins, and we're going for a nice straight spine here, or our halfway lift is often what I'll call it when we begin to move a little bit faster. So the crown of the head is reaching forward. I want this nice long line in the spine. Inhale here. And then as we exhale, maybe it feels good to bend the knees a little bit, folding forward. And these shorts are a little tight, restricting my movement. Good. And knowing that you can bend the knees as much as you need to get the hands down on the mat. And let's just spend a moment here to really break this posture down. So, our forward fold. I really love to bring the attention onto the torso. I want your torso to be on the quads, right, on the tops of these legs. So that might mean that you have a bend here in your knees. But we're not just going to stay here because our intention is to get as much length in the hamstrings as we possibly can. So keeping that connection, you're just going to continue to straighten out the legs, letting the head be heavier, and focusing the intention on reaching that tailbone high to the sky, right? Notice as you reach the tailbone high, the heels begin to ground down deeper into the earth. Right? Feel that sensation here. And then just go ahead and play. Maybe you bend the knees and you straighten them out. Let the head be heavy. And then find what feels natural here. Find the spot or the space that kind of just, you're not really working, but you can just hang here. And let's just go ahead and hang. Right? So we don't have to be so powerful in these positions. We can remember, okay, tailbone is reaching high to the sky. The crown of the head reaches towards the earth. And the heels are pressed firmly into the mat. We're relaxing in the head, relaxing in the shoulders. Good. Inhale, we're coming into our halfway lift. And we'll break this down a little bit more here. So I gave you pretty much what you need to know. Crown of the head. Your gaze is about forward and down. We want the long spine, right? So I don't really want the chin reaching high. I'd rather you keep that length in the back of the neck and keeping the spine long. And breathe here. Again, hands can be on the blocks, hands can be on the shins, hands can be on your dog. And then on the exhale, we bring the hands down to the mat. We step the right foot back and the left foot back, coming into our plank. So let's talk about plank. We have the full hand down on the mat, right? And all four corners of your hand should be pressing into the mat here. So you're making a beautiful L shape with the fingers, making sure that index finger is pointing forward. Notice that I'm gazing forward, not down at the hands. I'm gazing forward a little bit and down. I'm pressing my palm deeper into the mat. My elbow points are facing forward, which means a slight rotation of the armpits of this arm, right? So I'm hugging the armpits in. Then I'm engaged all the way down to my core. I'm hugging that belly and that tailbone in. My quads are engaged. And my heels are pressing back, right? Nice straight line here, just checking in. One more breath. And on the exhale, let's lower our knees. And we're gonna come into our knees, chest, chin position. So here, everything stays the same from the plank. You're just gonna directly bend those elbows back. So you kind of want the elbows to scrape the size of the rib cage here as we just reach the chin and the chest forward. And take a breath here, let the chest melt. Notice my hands are nice in line with the chest bone. And then the booty sticks up because on the inhale, we press it forward, right? We need a little bit of space for the chest to come through and lift to come into our baby cobra pose. So you're untucking the toes here. And notice, just so naturally, I don't even need the arms, I don't need the hands pressing into the mat here. This is our baby cobra. I'm rolling my elbows back towards one another. Really engaging the shoulder blades here. My entire torso is engaged. That's kind of what's allowing my chest to lift. And I'm breathing here. If it feels good, you can always go a little bit more into this posture, right? Where you keep the elbows bent. Maybe this feels good for you. Maybe the elbows bent. And things to focus on here, right? Notice how my shoulders are rolled here. They're rolling towards my ears. I'm closing off the chest. So I want you to bring the intention, roll the shoulders back, right? As if you're pinching that pencil in between the shoulders. Pressing the heart through, and I'm keeping a long spine again. Crown of the head reaches high, I'm gazed forward. I'm not lifting the chin up so high, sometimes that happens, but for right now, let's keep the chin parallel. And notice what you're feeling in the back body, right? And let's see, how does it feel if you go ahead and engage the glutes? And then relax them. See how that feels. How does the lower back feel when you fully relax? And then engage again. Focus on engaging the lower butt, the back of the quads, right? The hamstring area. Engage, engage. See how that feels. And then relax. And exhale, come all the way down. Let's rock out the hips from side to side. We're going to come to all fours. Coming into our tabletop position. Good. From here, you're going to grab your pillow or your block and just have it handy, just in case. We're going to talk about our puppy pose, because this is a really awesome heart opener, especially for fighters and athletes who... and come into all fours. So now we're going to talk about puppy pose. So from here, we're going to go ahead and extend our hands out. And my arms are pretty straight. So again, I'm rolling the arms, hugging in those armpits, elbow points face forward. And I'm walking them out. And from here, notice that I'm keeping the hips in line with my knees. And I'm just going to start reaching the chest down. My forearms come down to the mat, and I'm still gazing forward, letting the chin and the chest come down to the sky, to the earth. This is a beautiful pose to counteract all of the Muay Thai activity. And so if you're finding trouble, if you're struggling here, I invite you to grab a pillow and place it right under the chin. So a lot of the times we come into this pose and we bring the head down, but I really want you to get the length in the front body. So you're gonna bring the chin down. Maybe you support the chest a little bit, just bringing that earth to you. And seeing how you can get comfortable here, right? You're reaching the tailbone up towards the sky. And just relaxing in the entire upper body. That's really important. You're relaxing as much as you can. If we're tense here, then the chest can't get forward. So how much can you relax the chest down? Relax the back of the body. And breathe. Two more breaths. And then start walking the hands back to tabletop. From here, we're going to have the knees open wide and coming into our child's pose. So the hips sit back to the heels, and we walk the hands out in front of us, letting the torso melt in between those knees, letting the forehead come down to the mat. Again, this is your chance to relax. So A lot of the times, maybe the hips will be up here, and I encourage you to try to lower the hips down to the heels as much as you can, right? And this is nice when we get an adjustment, right? We have someone push the hips down to find some length there. So you want to feel nice and long, right, in the back body. So it's good to have the head down, the forehead down to the mat. And let's just send the breath into that back body space. Inhaling deeply into the lungs. And exhaling fully. We'll bring the gaze forward and really reach those hands out as far in front of you as you can. Remembering our beautiful L shape, making sure the entire palm is pressing into the mat. We'll go ahead and roll over. So now we're coming into our downward facing dog, rolling the shoulders over the wrists. I'm going to tuck the toes and press the hips up and back. Notice I usually take a little tiny step forward with my feet. And that feels like a good length for me. You'll notice if you're too short, then you won't really feel the stretch in the hamstrings. If you're too wide, then you're going to be if you're too wide, then you're going to be compensating in the shoulders too much. So it's going to seem like a really hard position. So you just want to find that nice sweet spot for you where you can balance the weight evenly from the hands and the feet. Good. From here, you want about 2 fist distance apart from the feet, right? So maybe walk the hands back towards the feet, and I'm going to measure out. I'm a little wide here, so I'll close it up a little bit, see how that feels. First, when I'm here, let's make sure that we turn the big toes in just slightly towards one another. And this really helps that pinky toe side of the foot be parallel to the edge of the mat. Walk the hands back forward, and then pressing the hands in. You're going to press as if you wanted to push this mat away from you, right? You push the earth away from you. And I'm driving this belly towards the quads, which is allowing my tailbone to go high. So come up all the way on the toes. Feel how high you can get that tailbone up. And then on the exhale, I want you to start lowering the heels down to the mat. Cue cicadas. And then from here, we can start bending one knee, just pedaling out the heels, seeing how it feels here. And as you drive those heels down into the earth, feel the tailbone reaching, feel the length in the hamstrings here. And let's talk about the shoulders quickly. A lot of the times we get super stressed out here and we want to hug the shoulders in towards the ears. Again, you're going to hug those shoulders into the sockets, right? Allowing the shoulders to relax away from the ears. And you can just nod the head side to side to check that the ears are in line with the biceps here. Let's take one more breath. And then exhale, let's go ahead and put it out all together. So you're going to roll out into a plank. Maybe you need the feet to be a little bit back. Feeling nice and tight, nice and firm here, one long board. And then you're going to lower knees, chest, chin, elbows tight to the body. Inhale, come up into our baby cobra. Rolling elbows. And then exhale, come into our downward facing dog. Good, we're going to do it one more time, but we're going to talk about lowering halfway down instead of knees, chest, chin this time. So go ahead, inhale, roll it out into a plank. And then as I exhale, so I'm literally just going to, the same thing as if my knees were on the floor, I'm just bending the elbows halfway. So sometimes what happens here is that we go too forward down, right? Then my butt is sticking up, and that's not the alignment that we're looking for. So instead, I want you to just go halfway down, right? Don't let the shoulder Don't let the shoulder dip any lower than the elbow. Just keeping that nice 90-degree angle here. Sorry, it's hard for me to talk and do a push-up because push-ups are not my strong suit. Good, so it should look like this. Exhale. And then on the inhale, I come into my upward facing dog. Notice, quads are off the mat. And then exhale, drop the knees down. We're gonna talk about it. Take a breath here. Okay. We're gonna come back into almost our cobra pose, right? Rolling the shoulders back, letting that chest really come forward. Let's bring the feet in towards one another so the thighs are nice and tight. And then here, we're gonna press the tops of the feet into the mat firmly so that you lift up in the quads. Feel that engagement. Good. And then on the exhale, you come into a downward facing dog. I roll over the toes, but that took me a little bit to get there. And then again, notice I take a little step to kind of shorten it out, get my length, right? And come into my downward facing dog. Inhale, we're gonna walk the feet forward, trying out our halfway lift. Exhale, fold, and then roll all the way up. You guys are doing awesome. I hope you're enjoying this. And we're gonna break down one more pose today, and that is our tree pose. It's really important, especially when we're doing Muay Thai. It's really good for balance, to focus our attention on our breath and just know what our body is doing. So, just like we started in mountain pose, we're feeling out that triangle shape in the ball and the foot. Big toe, pinky toe, heel. Really feeling strong and even. So pressing that foot firmly is like really tightening up my leg. So I'm engaging the quad, feeling really strong on this left leg. Good. Before I even lift my right leg, I'm gonna focus my drishti. So my drishti is a focal point where I don't allow my eyes to deter. I don't let them move around. I keep it really steady. It's something forward and down, not moving, and I keep myself laser focused on that point. This helps with the balance. When our eyes are moving, it's really hard to keep the body still, right? Same with the mind. If the mind is all over the place, then it's gonna be hard to balance. So let's keep our attention on one thing that's not moving here. Then from here, my leg is engaged, my drishti point is focused. I'm gonna lift the knee. And you have options. If it doesn't feel good to bring it all the way up, option one, have your foot on your knee. Option one, have your foot on your ankle. Option two, you can come up a little bit, anywhere but the knee. Try not to have it on the knee. That's just to keep the knee safe. And then option three would have this foot all the way up in towards the groin. And we're gonna talk about this here. So if you're feeling a little wobbly, stay with me, do your best to stay here. I want you to engage deeply on the left leg, deeply, deeply. Feel the left quad pressing into this right foot and this right foot pressing into the left quad. Again, those opposing forces keeping us super stable towards the midline of the body. Then from here, I'm just gonna feel my knee, press my knee back ever so slightly, and the left shoulder back ever so slightly. This way I'm feeling nice and square in the body, have really beautiful alignment here, and then you can bring the hands to heart center. And then once you master this, we can add on to the arms, right? Bringing the arms up, we can let them sway. We can bring our vision up. And then the hardest part, we can try to close. And just play with balance and coming wherever you are. If you fall, no worries, just shake it out. And come back, and let's go ahead and do the other side to keep you guys balanced. Right foot plants nice and firm, right? My quad is engaged. I'm feeling nice and strong on this right leg. Drishti locked and loaded. I start peeling left toes off the mat, and then I bring the foot in towards the groin or wherever it feels fit. Engaging right quad, pressing left foot into right quad, pressing left knee back, right shoulder back, making sure I'm nice and square, and then I'm bringing the hands to heart center. Using whatever variations we have. When you're ready to come out, you bring that knee forward and you place it down. And shake it out. So I hope you guys enjoyed this beginner video, and I really think this will help us moving forward into our flows, because sometimes it's hard when I have to use so much time to explain these postures. I don't get to the fun part, and I want to make this fun for you guys. I want to make this educational, and I want to keep your body safe. So let me know what you thought of this video, and if you're digging these shorts, you can order them at the Nakmoy Nation store. And yeah, thank you guys so much for coming.